Welcome to Autocar India, and this is the all-new Innova Hycross, a car that's so different from its predecessor. It's almost different in every single way. While the earlier one was based on a light truck, this one is based on a monocoque chassis. It's lighter, it's got a longer wheelbase. Wow, there's so much to look at. Come with us. Now the design clearly is an Innova, and what Toyota have done pretty well is evolve it and make it look fresh and new at the same time. Up front here is this big hexagonal grille. It's stretched out, it's fleshed out. The bonnet is flatter, a bit wider, and these interesting headlights wrap around the side with metallic inserts here. This is a new style element of the Innova. It's a sort of DRL cum fog light enclosure, and it gives it a wider stance up front. Around the side, the tires for India are 18 inches, 225/50 18s. They fill the wheel arches nicely, but you could have done with something slightly bigger. 100 mm more length in the wheelbase. There's a lot more space on the inside here, and around the back, the quarter light here, the quarter glass, has been changed from an upturn flick to a downturn one. Now the new Innova is based on Toyota's TNGA-C platform. That's the same as the Corolla and the Corolla Cross, and you can see that in the shape of the tail lights here. Now a more vertical rear, again to show the width of the car, and this rear windscreen is larger for better visibility. The Hycross badge is under the Innova. No Krista on this because they will keep the Krista, the diesel Krista, on sale. And your hybrid badge here, that there'll be a non-hybrid version of this car as well. Now, a power tailgate opens a decent amount of space, even with all three rows up. You can adjust this, you can put a few bags, a few soft bags here, and that makes it pretty practical. There's also space here to keep some small items. The spare tire, of course, as always, goes under the floor. So extremely fresh and new on the inside, a lot of straight lines, nice bracketing, metallic bracketing, leather, soft leather, exposed stitching. This interior is much more upmarket. Now the center console is extremely well defined. Up here is the screen. The system comes from JBL, the audio and the screen system. A couple of vents, again with that metallic bracket, beautifully rubberized, much better quality than on the earlier car. You have AC controls here, they're accessible easily, and the gear lever now is on the center console. Right next to it is the 360 camera. There's a parking brake, electric parking brake, and you get drive modes for the hybrid system and an EV mode. Now even things like the plastic quality lower down on the dash are nice. It's nice texture here, matte finish, no scratchy plastics, a huge glove box, and a lot of storage as well. Two deep cup holders here where you can place your phone, and this elbow box is hinged from the driver's side. It's deep, it's easy to put things inside, and you have an accessible door pad as well. The door pads aren't very large, but overall there's a fair amount of storage here. Now this is the first Innova to get a panoramic sunroof. It also gets cooled seats, especially for India. You have ADAS functions centered here for better driver assistance, and there are a lot of other interesting features. Now an extremely high quality new steering wheel. It looks like it's come off the Corolla platform cars, and it is. Gets a TFT in the center and dials on each side. You have your ADAS controls here. You have your basic fuel economy reading, the meter, the adaptive cruise control features, and others. The 10.1-inch screen comes from JBL, and that's a nice simple system. This is different from the one Toyota has developed with Maruti. At least the interface is different, and you get Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and these nice shortcut buttons here. There's a home shortcut button. You can adjust the volume, and you can go back easily with a button as well. Now the hybrid system gets various drive modes. This one is power, there's eco, and then there's a normal. There's an EV mode as well, but right now it says the hybrid battery is low. Of course, this car comes with a nickel metal hydride battery that's different from the lithium ion one on the Hyrider. And another feature the Hycross also gets is powered seats, as well as the memory here for the powered seats, the setting. Now, plenty of space here, and egress and ingress is easy. There's a big door. The floor is slightly lower. Incidentally, 185 mm of ground clearance for the car. And the best bit, of course, is you have this huge panoramic sunroof on top. Now, the thing with the big sunroof is it floods the cabin with light and gives it a more airy and open feel. But you do have to have a more powerful air condition, and Toyota have given a couple of vents here, one for the second and one for the third row. You get your AC controls here as well, but it remains to be seen how well it cools this cabin, especially since it's so large. These Ottoman seats are really the USP of this car. We reclined this seat here to show you just how much you can sit back in the seat, and this one here has good support for the thighs and decent back support. Shoulder support could have been a bit extra, but you do get this tray here with 2 cup holders, space to keep other stuff, and some small door pockets. They aren't very large. Overall build quality is excellent, and you get the blinds, really large blinds to cut out the sun when you need to. Now, this manual control is used to pull the seat forward and back. This one here pulls up this ottoman for your calves and feet, and to adjust the backrest you get another power control that's here. Now, the Innova is all about the third row, and here with the extra length and more space and the flat floor, it's a bit easier. You have to grab onto the back seat, pull it forward, and this aperture is a bit nicer than the earlier car. Now, even with the seat pushed quite back for comfort on the second row, there's a fair amount of space. You're sat a bit low and it's a bit knees up, but the backrest is pretty comfortable. You have these big headrests, and the rear seat can be reclined a few degrees to give you an extra amount of comfort. You have your vents here for the third row, and there's a 12-volt socket here should you need to charge some device. A couple of small cubby holes to keep your stuff on both sides. So all in all, a really practical third row, and that's what makes this car special. Now, normally with captain seats on the second row, this becomes a 6-seater, but Toyota have given you a seat belt on top here for the third passenger. There's 3 seat belts, so you can sit 3 abreast at the rear, make this a 7-seater, or if you have a bench on the second row, make it an 8-seater. Now, a couple of interesting features in the back include the headrest for the third row. There's 3 passengers in the back, and this is how you fit the headrest for the third passenger. Also, this is the first time Innova gets that powered closing tailgate. Now, the hybrid system under the hood here gives you 186 horsepower, 174 horsepower for the non-hybrid version. And this hybrid uses a nickel metal hydride battery as against a lithium-ion one that was used on Toyota's earlier Hyrider. Now, this car is front-wheel drive. All earlier Innovas have been rear-wheel drive before this, and it comes built on a monocoque chassis which is much more space efficient. It's also lighter, 200 kilos lighter, and you don't have that heavy chassis bearing you down. Now, it's such a big cabin, Toyota say they struggle to get the NVH right. It's a huge enclosure, and that creates a sort of drumming effect. So they've had to do a lot of insulation to keep it silent and comfortable. So that's the Innova Hycross for you, more spacious and comfortable on the inside. A petrol hybrid with an efficiency of 21 kpl and an expected price of between 24 and 28 lakhs. It's filled with features. It's got a new Ottoman seat in the back which you can put your legs up on. It's got cool seats, a massive panoramic sunroof, and Toyota have taken the game considerably ahead.